It's difficult to think of two more veteran, celebrated or respected male actors in the Indian film industry. Naseeruddin Shah and Anupam Kher. A very ugly war of words has broken out between two of these veteran actors. Accomplished actor Naseeruddin Shah and Anupam Kher, who need no introduction whatsoever, are engaged in a no-holds-barred verbal duel that's playing out on camera and very much in public. It started with Naseeruddin Shah visibly angry, calling Anupam Kher on camera a clown who has sycophancy running in his blood. Naseeruddin Shah said that Anupam Kher's Pro-Citizenship Act stand should not be taken seriously. Well, Kher, not one to sit silent, took to social media and shared a video saying that he doesn't take Naseeruddin Shah. Further said that despite achieving success in Bollywood, Naseeruddin Shah is a frustrated man who is into substance abuse. In an interview, Naseeruddin Shah was speaking on support to the government, and that the support that the government is receiving from the film industry in the backdrop of the protests against the citizenship law, where he pointed a finger at people like Anupam Kher. The star of many hit films and the winner of many national awards, Naseeruddin Shah also came out in support of Deepika Padukone's JNU visit, calling it courageous.
Actor Naseeruddin Shah recently came out in support of actor Deepika Padukone after she visited the Jawaharlal Nehru University, calling it courageous. In a recent interview, Naseer talked at length about the protests against the Citizenship Amendment Act, the NRC, the deafening silence of big Bollywood celebrities on it, the student protests and Deepika's decision to show solidarity. However, Naseer had less kind words for his Wednesday co-star Anupam Kher, who vocally endorses the government on its policies on Twitter. He said, and I quote, "I'm not on Twitter. These people, the Twitterati, and I really wish they would make up their mind in what they believe in. Someone like Anupam Kher has been very vocal. I don't think he needs to be taken seriously. He's a clown. Any number of his contemporaries from NSD and FTII can attest to his sycophantic nature. It's in his blood, he can't help it. The others who are opposing it should really decide about what they want to say and don't remind us of our responsibilities. We know our responsibilities." Now, reacting to Shah's statement, Anupam Kher, who is currently in New York City, has taken to social media and shared a video. He captioned the 1 minute 28-second video in Hindi as, "Here's my message for my senior Naseeruddin Shah. I've always admired his work and will continue doing so. Having said that, it's important to answer a few things bluntly, and here's what I have to say.
आपने मेरी तारीफ में कुछ बातें कही कि मैं क्लाउन हूँ, मुझे सीरियसली नहीं लेना चाहिए, मैं साइकोफैन हूँ, ये मेरे खून में है, वगैरह वगैरह। इस तारीफ के लिए शुक्रिया, पर मैं आपको और आपकी बातों को बिल्कुल भी सीरियसली नहीं लेता। आपने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी इतनी कामयाबी मिलने के बावजूद फ्रस्ट्रेशन में गुजारी है। अगर आप दिलीप कुमार साहब को, अमिताभ बच्चन साहब को, राजेश खन्ना साहब को, शाहरुख खान को, विराट कोहली को क्रिटिसाइज कर सकते हैं, तो I'm sure I'm in great company.
Earlier in November, Naseeruddin was among the 100 prominent Muslim citizens from across the country who opposed the decision by some litigants to file a review petition challenging the Supreme Court's Ayodhya verdict, saying that keeping the dispute alive will harm the community. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Industry is not a homogeneous body, right? There are people from the society, just as your community of journalists are also divided. There are some that are spewing all kinds of fake news and are malicious and are playing a very divisive role. And then there are some who are really holding up and who are sharing stories day in and day out. They are going into the field and finding out what this NRC CA is going to do to people. They are documenting these protests, etc. So just as no body is a homogeneous body, so of course there will be always some people in the film fraternity who are against it, and there will be some who are supporting it. That's just the nature of things.
Okay, joining me live now, veteran actor Raza Murad, veteran actor Mukesh Tyagi, activist Zeenat Shaukat Ali, and our correspondent in Mumbai who's been tracking the fallout of this surprising clash between the two big veteran stars. Pia Hingorani is also live with us from Mumbai. Raza Sahib, I want to come to you first. What do you make of Anupam Kher's counter? You know, Naseeruddin Shah has said he's a clown, he's a, he's a sycophant, he shouldn't be taken seriously. What did you make of these comments?
It's very unfortunate whatever has happened shouldn't have happened this, because both the actors are class actors, both are from the same institute, NSD, both have done so well for themselves. And I would not like to blame anybody or, put a finger on one of them, because both are my very good friends, both are my colleagues, both are my juniors. But the unfortunate part is that this ugly incident should have been avoided. There is a saying in Hindi ke matbhed hona chahiye, manbhed nahi hona chahiye. So I think it has become too personal. Comments have become very, very personal.
Yeah.
And the allegations which has been, exchanged between them. It's very, very unfortunate. And the irony is that they have done so many films together, like A Wednesday. It's one of the class films of our country.
Yeah.
And both have performed so well. There are so many things in common between them. Both are excellent actors. Both have won laurels globally. Both have received international, national awards. Both are recipients of Padma Awards.
Yeah.
So I would call it it's very unfortunate, and whatever it was between them, they should have settled within the four walls of a room instead of making it public. So I don't approve of whatever has been said, what the barbs have been exchanged between them. I don't approve of.
No, I feel your pain, Raza Sahib, because you know the both of them, and like you said, they've won laurels all across the world. So there is a sense of shock perhaps among veterans that these two very celebrated actors, legends, veterans would go head to head in this manner. Zeenat Shaukat Ali, if I could bring you in right now, are you disturbed by this exchange, or would you put it down to the intensity with which people feel about what's happening in the country right now, and therefore it's totally understandable and totally acceptable?
No, I don't think it is acceptable, and I don't think that I would approve of such a thing. I think that celebs have a responsibility, and when it comes to exchanges, verbal exchanges, you have to be far more dignified.
Absolutely.
And you have every right to disagree, and you have every right to agree, and this agreement to disagree should exist with with some dignity and kind of language that has been used and hurled at each other.
Yeah.
I don't think that it reflects well on either of these two personalities, which are who are both icons in their own way.
Yeah.
And who are who are loved by Indians, all over and also worldwide, as has been pointed out. So I do not approve of such kind of, and I do not think that whatever may be the intensity of a problem, it does not have to become personal. One has to look at it objectively and diagnose it objectively, argue against it, and try to convince the government or otherwise that these things should not exist, and they are creating a problem in the country. And so our country is one that has always held the legacy of India, which is plural, which is tolerant, close to its heart, and we are unique in the world today.
No, it's also,
I think we are, and so therefore we should express it in those terms and not in the terms of tu memes.
It is one of the reasons, Mukesh Tyagi, if I could bring you in, one of the reasons why people are so shocked is because these are two actors who know very well what it the culture of samvad, of disagreement, of agreeing to disagree, of being being soft spoken and talking things out in a nice sort of decent manner. But the words that have been used, Mukesh ji, sycophant, clown, frustrated, substance abuse, I don't know what he's smoking. You would not expect two legends like Naseeruddin Shah first and then Anupam Kher, to get into a fracas of this kind. What do you think, Mr. Tyagi?
No, I certainly agree with you, Shiv. I think it has reached to a very new low, which is absolutely deplorable and very, very ridiculing allegation against each other. Both of them are well-read people. They don't, they have a very great, elegant background. Naseer साहब की तालीम बहुत अच्छे स्कूलों में हुई है.
Correct.
And similarly, Anupam has also studied in a good school. But this kind of dialogue between both of them is certainly deplorable. But look at the way Naseeruddin Shah has been provoking all the time. First he raised the issue that Anupam Kher, it does not belong to Kashmir, and why is raising a bogey against Kashmir?
Yes.
So, that he provoked again. So he has been again talking about कि मेरे बच्चे यहाँ पे महफूज नहीं हैं. So he has been constantly criticizing. He criticized even Virat Kohli. He has been making many noises that I do not like actors talking only about the film. They are so self-centered. They need to talk about larger issues.
Yes.
He has been praising, even when the worst of relationship happened between India and Pakistan, he has been praising Pakistan. So there have been number of statements which have been made by Mr. Naseeruddin Shah, and the initiative came from Mr. Shah. Never Anupam Kher has provoked Mr. Naseeruddin Shah first. He has always reacted and responded to it. Now, if he is calling him a sycophant, you see, if he is ideologically having a difference, Mr. Anupam Kher is supporting BJP or Modi, that is his personal, he cannot dictate the term that you cannot and you become a sycophant.
Exactly.
That's again, then again he is making a very communal statement. Look, my name is Naseeruddin Shah, that's why I'm the focal point of all these trollers.
No, it's very ugly.
No, he is creating constantly a flare-up against a communal divide.
That's
which is totally against. I think Mr. Naseeruddin Shah should have refrained from making such a, his intellectual capability is completely shrunk in this stage.
This is the question I'm actually asking right now, because people are wondering कि ये क्या हो गया है कि someone like a Naseeruddin Shah, I mean, nobody would think that Naseeruddin Shah would flip in this manner and be like this. Pia, this must have sent shockwaves through the film industry. Anupam Kher's family, Naseeruddin Shah's family, they know each other. All these people know each other very well. They're family friends, they're colleagues. They've known each other for decades together. They've acted in films together. I mean, I can imagine what a shock this must have caused.
Absolutely, Shiv. And up until now, even when it came to the Citizenship Amendment Act, we've seen Bollywood divided, whereas, on one side, we've seen Anupam Kher, Kangana Ranaut and Ashok Pandit, Vivek Agnihotri, for the CAA. On the other hand, we've seen, Anurag Kashyap, Farhan Akhtar, Zoya Akhtar, all coming out against the CAA. So this is the first time that it has become so personal. And of course, I've been speaking to a lot of people since the morning. However, none of them wanted to come on record and talk because they felt that this was too
Not
petty.
surprised.
They need to look at the bigger picture, which is the Citizenship Amendment Act, and that is what needs to be focused on, and not two people bickering on social media, or for that matter taking jibes at one another, which is a very fair point, because they were like, we don't want to get into this. We want to just focus on the political what is brewing in the country at the moment.
No, because Pia, thank you very much for that update. I'm going to let you go for the moment. But the point is that what Naseeruddin Shah has done, by using words like clown and sycophant against Anupam Kher, is divert attention from any other point he may have been trying to make. He may have been trying to make a point about, the government authoritarianism or CAA or anything else. But given his own stature, as Mukesh ji just said, the whole point is completely diverted now to how Naseeruddin Shah has behaved in a very juvenile kind of manner. Raza Sahib, I want to bring you in on that, because you know both these legendary actors very well. Was it not possible, in your opinion, to disagree gracefully if there was some kind of a difference of opinion? Why do you think Naseeruddin Shah, stooped to calling Anupam Kher in public a clown and a sycophant?
There can be there could be a difference of opinion between them, but they should not have gone personal. They have exchanged a lot of personal barbs, so that should not have happened. And if there are difference of opinion
Yeah.
that could be discussed, that could be sorted out. But, publicly, making allegations like this and making personal comment is not done. And the irony is, the unfortunate part is, both of them are so good actors, they are such good performers.
And friends.
And they have made their names in the international cinema also.
Yes.
And they are not kids. They both are very grown-up, mature people. But as I told you, the common thing between them is that they always speak their mind. They never mince their words. And this should not have happened.
No, it's very ugly. I mean, Zeenat ji, there are legions of fans of both these actors who must be watching in horror, as these two legendary actors trade insults and call each other very adolescent kind of names, clown, sycophant, ye phukta hai, he's frustrated. All those things that we used to say to each other as teenagers perhaps are being used by two of the most celebrated award-winning actors in the Indian film industry right now. I want to ask you, has the CAA issue, has anti-establishment sentiment among a section of Bollywood risen to such an extent that friends are not friends anymore? Anyone is fair game, and even old associations are now, vulnerable to this kind of attack.
I think, that would be stretching it a bit too far. But, to say that, there are such strong opposite divides and, that people take those kind of stands, I would not quite agree with that. But yes, I would say that, a democracy is made up of disagreements.
That's true.
It's just that, we don't have to, very often we have seen, unfortunately, very often we have seen even in the political class, that the kind of words that are hurled at each other.
Yes, very true.
I think are they have taken me completely by surprise, that people who are representing the country and who stand as leaders and whom we follow, talk to each other in such a manner.
Yeah.
So it is becoming part and part of an unfortunate, development of a culture that, we have stopped learning to respect. We have stopped learning to use our words well. We have stopped learning to, conduct ourselves in a manner where we can silence the adversary through proper language, through proper words, and through proper argument, instead of standing and hurling, these kind of, making noises against each other. And we see it more and more in the political class. I mean, I am watching it. I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel very strongly and painful about this.
I have to agree.
And now it is coming, to other areas as well.
Madam,
So,
I very firmly agree with what you're saying when you say there is a culture of using insults, a culture of using, base language, to hit out at your adversaries in the political sphere. But forgive me when I have to opine that Naseeruddin Shah and Anupam Kher, one would imagine as artists of a higher calling, people who have, Mukesh ji, I wonder if you agree with me. These are people who are, exposed to a more decent way of life, a more inclusive way of life. These are the last two people who I feel, would be inspired by how politicians abuse each other every day. Mukesh ji, do you agree with that? Last two people who you would expect to behave like this. But especially Naseeruddin, because Anupam was only responding.
Shiv, you have hit on the head of the nail. You have absolutely hit on the head of the nail. This kind of conversation, this kind of blame game, individual being named, I think they should raise their bar and a conversation at much higher level. Look at Meryl Streep. When she was accepting the Golden Globe Lifetime Achievement Award, she had to speak against elect president that time, President Trump. But she never named him. She said that somebody who is occupying the highest chair in the United States has imitated some journalist who was handicapped or something like that. So she also refrained from using it. So we need to develop our language in such a way, we want to convey something, you can always philosophize. And Mr. Naseeruddin Shah is gifted with a language. He can speak in all the languages, Urdu, Hindi, English, and he has got a great command on that. I have a lot of respect. Actually, when I saw Ghalib, I felt like he's one of the most renowned actor and one of the, we are very proud of him.
Very true.
But he has, I don't know what is going wrong, that he has been constantly, and he's also part of that award Vapsi gang. He's also part of those 49 people. He supported them. Like one of them is Anand Patwardhan, who's made a film called In the Name of the God, and he ridiculed, castigated all the right wings. So there is some kind of, I cannot say pinpoint, but there is some kind of ideological manifestation which is like putting them all together.
Is an
what
ideological,
is their agenda? What do they want to achieve about it?
There is a coloring ideology has forced many of these artists to come out and speak very strongly against the government or in support of the government, which is something that's very visible. But to attack each other in a very personal way, I mean, we have seen constructive debate. Like Zeenat ji said, there is a way to constructively debate, but when you start trading injurious insults, very personal insults of this kind, it is no longer a constructive debate, and the person you're actually insulting in this manner is never going to actually listen to you. Raza Sahib, do you agree with that? That, you know, this is a breaking point in many ways, or am I stretching it? Am I exaggerating by thinking that this is some kind of a breaking point? Does this war of words between these two veterans show how sharply Bollywood is divided over CAA, and that there's no really turning back from this point now?
Yeah, undoubtedly it is divided. There are no two opinions about it. Bollywood is divided. In the past, these things never happened openly. There could be a difference of opinion between two wise people. But you know, going personal and making personal allegations is really very, very unfortunate.
But Raza Sahib, you know, since, and this is something I'm curious about, because you're in the industry and you've seen it, and you have seen political opinions in the industry as well. Do you think that Bollywood, the film industry, I won't say Bollywood, the film industry has finally found its voice, or is this activism only a flash in the pan that is only raging on social media, and even this spat between these two veterans is just one element or effect of it?
Yeah, it is happening. It's happening, yeah, but it should be stopped. But I don't think that you can stop it now. People have gone further. There are, you know, camps are divided between.
There are, very clearly.
You know, people of different ideology and different thoughts. So I don't think that this gulf would ever be, you know, this gulf would only widen by the passage of time. It's very unfortunate.
No, but
they have. You should. You should speak your mind, but you should not hurt the sentiments of anybody. You should not get personal.
Yeah.
You should. Whatever you want to speak, it's democracy. You can speak your mind. You can always, you know, cast your opinion. But there should be a way. Not like this. Not like this. And you know, people are enjoying all this kind of fight.
So true.
Which has happened. People are really enjoying. For them, it's a very juicy matter. They are really relishing it. They are enjoying it.
I think you're right. People are relishing it. There is a voyeuristic pleasure in seeing two large celebrities of this kind trade insults of this kind in public. All I will say is that it's tragic. You know, if there is a meaningful issue that is to be debated, it is completely lost in the noise and the decibel level of the insults that have been employed by two people who you never thought would really use the language of this kind, starting with Naseeruddin Shah, who called Anupam Kher a sycophant and a clown. We hopefully there will be some kind of meeting of minds. Hopefully there will be some peace between these two stars. Let me also categorically say that I am personally pained by this, and I hope this never becomes an Anupam versus Naseeruddin kind of debate or a narrative, because these are two of India's finest actors. In fact, I will personally say that Akrosh with Naseeruddin Shah and Saransh with Anupam Kher stand the testimony of time as being some of the finest films to come out of the Indian film industry. These are two legends. Let's hope there can be some peace and on to some meaning.